Hi, it's Chris from Dozer Training. Welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to give you an overview of the checks what you should be making on your blade on the Dozer. Your blade is an important part of the machine, so you need to ensure that you know exactly what sort of checks you're checking for. Part of your technical test will require this. Also, as an operator out on site, you need to know what you're checking for as well. Just looking at the wearing part of the blade. Okay, you've got a non-wearing part and a wearing part. Now, the front of the blade is a wearing part, the back of the blade is a non-wearing part. So what I'm doing here is I'm just checking the integrity of the skin, making sure that it's got no pits in it or any signs of fatigue or any cracks in it or anything like that. So it all looks good. I'm checking it for damage. There's a slight little bit of damage on the top there. Okay, it was already like this when I bought this Dozer, so I don't know what's happened there, but it does tell me that it's been pushed, or this has been pushing something as opposed to pulling. Your cutting edges. Now, your cutting edges are made up of your end pieces and your 3 center pieces. Now, if you replace the end pieces, you will need to turn your center pieces. Now, I had to turn my center pieces because my end pieces, there was some damage to one of them, so I had to replace the end pieces with brand new pieces. I had no choice, but I had to turn the center pieces. Okay, so what you're checking for on here is making sure that there's plenty of wear on them. Now, to check these for wear, what you need to do is you need to take a tape measure from the center of the plow bolt. So that's your plow bolt. That's what holds your cutting edges onto your actual blade itself. Okay, so you take a tape measure and you take a measurement from the center of that plow bolt to the bottom of the cutting edge, and whatever that distance is there, that is your wear. Okay, so these are about 75 mil last time I checked. If you are working with GPS as well, then it's important that you get these figures correctly, otherwise you're going to be offset. Checking it for wear. Now, as long as this bottom piece here doesn't start to wear too much and it starts to encroach on the non-wearing part of the blade, you're okay, but you will need to keep an eye on it. These have been turned. Now, you can see these have been turned because I've got material in this gap here. If it was a brand new set of cutting edges, there would be no gap. This cutting edge would be flush onto the actual skin there as well, but I had to turn these, so these tell me that they've been turned. Now, you want to get one turn out of them. Once you've turned them once and they wear again, then you need to replace them again. So they all look intact. So the non-wearing part of the blade is the back of the blade. Again, this needs to be free from damage. Make sure that you've got nothing trapped in the inside of your trunnion ball or anything like that. Make sure you haven't got excessive material coming over from the blade where you've been pushing too much material. You have got your cylinder ram guards at the back there, so they need to be free of debris. Your hydraulic pipes as well, which feed the 6-way blade, they need to be free of debris as well. You don't want to be getting any material trapped in them, anything rubbing on or anything like that, which is going to cause you problems. So as you can see, you've got the back of the blade, which is a non-wearing part. It's free of damage. There's no obvious signs of continual backblading. There's no big chunks stuck out of it, or there's nothing which has dinted it or anything like that. A little bit of debris on the blade frame. Blade frame is the bit what holds the blade to the actual machine. Again, make sure that that's not damaged. That is a non-wearing part as well. You can see the trunnion ball there. Because this is a pat blade, it's a 6-way blade. That needs to have plenty of grease on it. Make sure that it hasn't got too much debris inside it again. Make sure that all your rams and cylinders are clear as well. Make sure that there's nothing trapped in between your hydraulic pipes or anything like that. Just look underneath it there. You can actually see the plow bolts. Now, what I was explaining before, if you was to wear that cutting edge right down to the maximum, you are actually at risk of starting to wear where the plow bolts go into. Now, that is actually part of the blade itself. It's not a wearing part as such, so you need to be careful that we don't start to wear them bolts out, otherwise that's a pretty big job as well. When I say non-wearing part, it is a wearing part, but it's not designed to take as much stress and do as much work as the front of the blade. Come round to the other side again. Make sure that you've got nothing trapped on your rams or your ram guards or your cylinders. What you want to be checking for in there as well is leaks. If you had excessive material coming over the blade, especially harsh material, and it was to fall onto the ram itself, it could put a pit in it or a dent in it, which then as that ram goes in and out of the ram cylinder, it could cause the ram to start seeping and leaking, and that would be a seal replacement.